kiss for you.
Hello, so it's been a little while since I've been back on the channel, sorry about that. I had a lot of finishing up of the year type of things that I had to get done, and one of those was, finals and all that stuff. And I didn't really have too much to talk about, but luckily we have a lot to talk about now since I've gotten a bunch of new things from Christmas and just other things I've been doing. So we'll have, honestly, about 3 or 4 more reviews coming up soon, hopefully. And one of those, I guess, will be talking about the AirPods and a couple other ones I want to kind of keep a surprise. So, I want to talk about mainly the AirPods Pros and sort of my experience with them after I eventually bought them on a Black Friday sale and kind of how I feel about them, if I think they're worth it, that kind of stuff. So they are these sort of white cased, white earbuds with the tips on them here sort of design. And they are true wireless earbuds that are meant to be a competition to things like the WAF, the Sony. So basically there's a whole category of this active noise canceling true wireless earbuds. And they're basically earbuds, right? Like wireless earbuds that you see. So a good, I guess, competition. Galaxy Buds Pro, we'll just bring that up real quick. But yeah, basically, they're in this sort of category of you want to have your earbuds be wireless, like truly wireless, but you also want to have active noise canceling. And if you saw my other reviews for the Sony headphones, the M3s I did, basically active noise canceling is the super cool technology that really uses sound waves, and it's canceling out any noise that you hear actively. So there's passive and active noise canceling. And the passive one is just, okay, how does it make a seal on your head? And the active one is actively pumping what's called anti-noise out to cancel out the noise wave and resulting in a relatively flat hum. And so a lot of active noise canceling technologies, what they try to do is make that as seamless as possible. Yeah, a lot of they try to make it as seamless as possible, and ultimately that means reducing pressure, making sure that music or anything going through it sounds good, and overall being a pleasant, getting rid of noise experience. Active noise canceling has generally been pretty expensive, and it only has, again, recently, as of whenever the AirPods Pros really came out, they're one of the first active noise canceling earbuds. What makes, I guess, the AirPods Pros a more interesting option compared to other competitors like the Galaxy Buds Pro right here. Sony ones is that the AirPods obviously work better with iOS devices, but it's also just a convenience factor, right? Case is very small, right? So if I try to provide context for how big the case is in relation to other things, the case is relatively small. And relatively small cases are good because it means you can fit in the pocket easier, right? Unlike something like when these came out, the WF-1000X M3s are not as compact. The original casing for that was much bigger, and so it was mainly, in a true comparison, how big you wanted the case determined how easily you were able to fit it somewhere. One thing I really like about AirPods Pro, and what everyone says, is that the case is very portable, right? You're able to slip it in easily. It's very rounded. It doesn't have a lot of edges or anything, and it's just a comfortable case that you can easily pop in and out, and it's made of plastic instead of this kind of rubberized material. The other benefit to the case here is that it is very built most of the time. The only thing I am kind of having an issue on is the back part where this sort of metal latch attaches to is starting, at least for me, to become a little bit undone. Try to showcase in the video. You can kind of hear, I can maybe do it to the mic, you can hear that sort of that clicking sound. That's kind of the back sort of hinge mechanism that you use to open it, going back and forth and not being completely screwed in. But other than that, the case is really well built. It feels nice, keeps the earbuds, charges them, and it has magnets and stuff for it, which is really good. Satisfying clap sound, which is important. And obviously it has the automatic pairing stuff, so if you do have an iPhone, you'll have automatic pairing. There's obviously a button on the back, so it doesn't need to be connected to an Apple device, but it is obviously a benefit if you do have an Apple device. Now, the earbuds themselves, as you can see by this screenshot here, are relatively well built. I definitely believe they're relatively built, and they're relatively sturdy, and they do a great job of obviously keeping out the noise and keeping in, the music or whatever you're listening to. One of the main reasons is that this ear tip, right? And so other, like the AirPods, the original AirPods, not the Pros, didn't have this, and they were kind of just like the normal tip design, sort of this shell here without this front part. And while they're really good for just popping in and out, they weren't really good at noise isolating in any case. And so these are really good at noise isolating, and then you turn on the ANC and it does really work. Now, when I originally got these, I was kind of concerned that they didn't do a good job of doing the ANC stuff, and then I eventually realized, okay, I need to reset my expectations. These are a little, I mean, they're quite different from, you know, the headphones, right? They're not going to be as revolutionary. The Sonys, they're just going to be a relatively calmer, so they're not going to block out things like airplane noises or cars or rain or something like that the other ones would, but they're very good at things like wind noise and sort of general ambient noise that comes up. And I definitely, like, after using them in college and dorm and stuff, where I'm next to the, my room is next to the lounge, so it's kind of irritating. After that, it's a very calming experience, right? It's much better than I originally anticipated. So that's basically about the case. And you want the earbuds themselves. So the earbuds themselves are actually quite interesting because the touch controls work very well. So they are clicker, not a clicker, a pressure sensitive touch control button. They basically just press and it activates. Pretty relatively simple. You just take them out of the case. They should automatically pair to your phone, whether it be Android or Apple. Apple has the automatic pairing for the first time, but it doesn't really matter. After the first time, they should just connect to your phone regardless. And both of them have a pressure thing that you just squeeze, and it activates, and it will hear a little ding, and it will do whatever that's supposed to do. Ear tip, pretty common. It is kind of magnetic, so you just kind of like slip it in. It will attach. There's obviously other ear tips that by default they come in the and yeah, they're relatively comfortable. One thing I was mainly looking for in these were comfort, obviously. Definitely really comfortable. I enjoy the comfort of them. I enjoy how they feel in my ear compared to something like, we'll bring up this example here. This is the new third generation longer stemmed AirPods. No, the original. These are the original, and then the AirPods Generation 3 look like the Pro case of the third one, and there's a couple of advantages, but overall are like the original AirPods, and I didn't find those super comfortable. I mean, they were more comfortable than other brands I've used, but not necessarily like above anything else. These are very comfortable. I actually think it's to do with kind of how they locate in your ears and sort of where they're positioned. It's very good, and I would definitely say these are definitely the most comfortable of the options I've seen. A pressure-sensitive equalizing thing. So one thing about ANC is that if it's done wrong, it can create a lot of pressure in your ear, right? When it's pumping the anti-noise, that can easily create a bunch of pressure. These don't have that, and they even have a thing to reduce the amount of pressure going to your ears, and it has one of these little black slits. One of them equalizes the pressure, which is very nice. So this right here is how, I guess, the inner part of the ear tip looks, sort of this metal grill, and then this ear tip thing that kind of like clicks into place. I am not sure which one of these holes is the microphone versus, I believe this one right here is the speaker, this top one, and then the one the person's finger is on is, I believe, the microphone, and then the one on the outside is, I want to say, the equalizer. One of the three black things on here is the equalizer that equalizes the pressure, which is very nice. I definitely like having it, and I can definitely notice if things aren't being equalized, right? If they're like, these work, these have been working really well, but like other earbuds and stuff that I've tested with ANC don't have that, right? They have a lot of pressure. They feel like they have a lot of pressure, at least. How they sound stuff, and so unlike the AirPods. Unlike the original AirPods, they're very good at projecting the music to your ears versus kind of escaping. So they're very good for, again, being able to listen more comfortably than you would normally be able to the AirPods. So as you can see, they kind of fit like this in your ear, kind of a little bit snug, but they do create a really good seal. And so music and stuff that you listen to sounds really good. It's not going to blow you away. It's not like, oh, these are incredible sounding like some other headphones potentially can be. They're just very good for what they are. Yeah, and I like the sound of them. I like the space that they provide. I like sort of a lot of the, I like how they sound with ANC on, right? That's another important factor. And a couple of interesting things about the sound. They have a thing called, so the sound is, I'm not sure how to describe it, but it's good, it's balanced, right? It's not too heavy in the bass or too heavy in certain areas. It sounds very a balanced sound, which is good, right? For these type of things, they sound really good with the ANC on or off. It's not only good with a certain ANC on or off, that type of thing. Yeah, the sound is very good. And the next thing is sort of special features. And one of the special features is when I was using them on my iPhone, spatial audio. So this is kind of hard to demonstrate but there is a thing called spatial audio, and basically I find this quite useful when I was listening to like a podcast or like a video or something. Spatial audio is effectively a adjustment to the sound of whatever you're listening to effectively make it sound like things are in each ear binaurally a little bit different than what they might be. So the best way I can describe it is if I was listening to music or someone talking, it would kind of feel like they were in front of me. It's in front of me, and it might be like music sometimes might be in left and right or switch from left and right. But when you turn spatial, it kind of like zooms out. So if you've ever heard like 8D audio or ever used open back headphones, you can kind of get that sensation of things being closed in, closed off. You're kind of in a box, and then things kind of like going outside. Another example I could give is like speakers. So if you have like a speaker way out in somewhere, and then you have another speaker, kind of that stereo speaker having a bunch of speakers around you, that's kind of how it feels like. And spatial audio tries effectively as an audio trick to move audio fully around you like a set of speakers would and sort of create this in the moment feeling. So like as I say with the speaking video, someone speaking, it's kind of like in the front or maybe in both ears at the same time, one or the other, whatever, right? Spatial audio kind of makes it feel like it takes the room into account. So it's kind of like you're listening to something, and instead of it being like directly in front of the microphone right now, it would be like to the left and to the right and up above and below. I don't have a spatial audio setup, so I can't really, but like it would be all those, and it would fill the room. It would feel like they're in the room talking, and it works surprisingly well. No, I wouldn't recommend it for a lot of things because it just doesn't work for a lot of things, but I think it's a good idea for a lot of systems and for movies and things. It just makes things feel very spacious, and I definitely notice it with videos and stuff, right? Someone's talking, it's not just directly in front, it spaces out, adds a spacer or whatever, and makes it wider. And there's two different versions. There's a fixed version, which is similarly wider, and a head tracked. Head tracked uses the gyroscopes in this AirPods and kind of tilts them depending on where you tilt your head. So if I tilt my head to the right, meaning my left ear is, I guess, towards the phone, if I was listening to music or whatever, the sound would be primarily in the left ear. If I do it to the right, the sound would get louder, be primarily in the right ear. And so that switching head tracked is kind of like someone talking to you, and it's tracked based on the location of your head. So that's basically what head track does. I want to bring this up because a lot of people know about the spatial audio feature, and I think if you have an iPhone, it's a very good thing to kind of play around with and be curious about, because it is definitely a good feature that I think more people should use. So I've talked about the sound quality, the inside outs of the case, the inside and sort of internals of the earbuds and everything else. The last thing I want to talk about is battery life and general usability. Battery life has been pretty good. I definitely like the amount of battery life I'm getting. I haven't tracked it totally, but I do believe I'm getting about 5 hours of playback on the earbuds and then 24 hours in the case. So it's definitely pretty good battery life, and it has wireless charging, so you can just pop it on a wireless charger. I just want to confirm the battery life amount because I believe it's 5.5. Okay, it's 4.5. 4.5, I want to say 24. I believe 4.5 and 24. So 4.5 and 24 hours is what's battery life in the case. You can also, obviously, with the W1 chip and stuff, connect it to multiple devices like your Mac and your iPhone if you have that seamlessly, which is nice. Seamless switching as well, which is really good. So I can start something on my Mac, pause it, continue a different thing on my phone, and it will transfer to my phone as long as obviously Bluetooth is connected and I've connected the AirPods the first time. It will switch seamlessly, which is very nice. As I said, for charging, you can just put it on a charging pad or use a lightning cable. Doesn't have USB-C, it's still lightning, which is kind of unfortunate. But yeah, overall, general usability, I really like them. I liked them when I had an iPhone, and just as a spoiler, I guess, I switched recently to an S21 Ultra. So I'll be having a sort of, not comparison, I'll be having like a first impressions or review on that as well, that I find quite interesting. But yeah, so I switched to that, and they work fine on Android as well. I did have to pair them, obviously, but when I opened up the case, I put them in, boom, they pair, and it's fine. Yeah, and for me, general usability on both devices was really good. I haven't had any problems on the Android side, and I haven't had any problems on the iOS side. So both of those work really well. I haven't had any disconnects or problems with the Bluetooth. The case has been fine. Battery life has been fine. Sound has been fine. Doesn't sound any different. There is a couple of things that you do lose on Android when you use the AirPods Pro, and a couple of those features are as follow. You lose the ability to do Siri, obviously, the ability to customize the double tap. So basically, if you press and hold, it does something. If you tap, it does something. And then in the settings of the iPhone menu, there's an ability to double tap it and have it do something. You lose that ability, so that's there. You lose, obviously, the automatic switching. So if I have a Mac still, but if I have a Mac in my phone, I can only then connect it to one of them. It does not automatically switch. Not too big of a problem. Simple setup. It's not that big of a deal to set up on Android, so that's not a problem. Checking AirPods battery, so that is, so out of this entire list, Siri, not that much of a problem. Customizing double tap, doesn't really matter. Automatic switching, not a huge deal. Simple setup, it's simple enough to set on Android. The last three are really what I'd consider potential deal breakers. So on Android, there is a number of apps that you can use to check the AirPods battery life. I am using Material Pods right now because I find that to be the best one. And basically, all you do is you open it up, connect it, and it will show kind of like that pop-up that the Android one did. This pop-up right here, it's showing that. It will kind of show that on the Android side as long as you have that enabled and available in the background. But yeah, and obviously you can like pay for it or whatever if you want extra features, but the default free version works really well. It will show you battery life, no problem. The two features you do lose that are kind of important are the automatic ear detection and the single AirPod listening. So, automatic ear detection is the thing where they have a little sensor. I think the bottom one is the automatic ear detection sensor. And basically, take it out, it pauses the music, put it back in, it plays the music. I don't know why they've somehow locked that to the iOS ecosystem, which is kind of odd because if you look at other AirPods, other earbuds that have this feature, and other headphones that have this feature, it's like a physical thing. This is also a physical thing, but it like doesn't work if you don't have iOS. So that's a little bit of a bummer. And the last thing is single AirPod listening. So because it can pause one or the other, it also has the ability to play with only one of them connected. I think it doesn't remember which one, but either of them connected, the other can be in the case, and it works fine. That does not work, at least in my testing, on Android. So that is something to be aware if you are using this on an Android device. The only one of these that I kind of miss is the single AirPod listening, but I might be able to find a workaround. Those are my first impressions of the AirPods Pro. I like them a lot for what they are, and I got them on sale, so that's also another thing to consider. I like how they feel, the case, I like how they fit my ears, the comfort of them. Sound quality is pretty good, and overall there's what I would consider best ANC true wireless earbuds right now, especially if you can get them. I got these for around $170, I believe, $160 to $170 on Amazon on a Black Friday sale, because they are normally $250, and that's definitely way too much. So if you can get them on sale, absolutely recommend them. And yeah, if you want to see more of these first impressions or whatever, make sure to hit that like button, all that stuff. And I'll see everyone in my next video.